Journey to the abandoned house. What did I get done this week? Oh yeah, we have lights. They turn on by switches instead of, me plugging things in. And we managed to get one window trimmed out. So that means all the polying is done. Staircase is now free and clear. And we worked on evening out the floor transition. All right, let's get into it. Well, good morning. I had an interesting meeting this morning with a realtor. She's got some buyers that might be interested in old Frankie here. And we might have the opportunity to sell this house faster than we were thinking. So that's interesting. So I'm sure you can tell that round 2 is going a lot faster than round 1. I still won't get the pile done today, but it is moving a lot faster. And so let's talk about that. Right now, that's what it sounds like for one coat of poly. And honestly, for most people, it's probably good enough. As for protecting the wood, you need to put at least 2 coats on. So do you have to sand it? For me, yes, it has to be done. I have to sand it. Because I know that when people see something that they're really attracted to, what do? They touch it. And if they touch it and it's super smooth and they go, ooh, compliment. If they go on to it and they hear that, you'll either hear, oh, or nothing at all. But if it's super smooth, let me see if I can get a comparison here. Those are pretty similar. So I'll sand this one down. I won't sand this one. You'll be able to hear the difference. Now, if you're really paying attention, you would have heard the pitch of the sandpaper changing as it became smooth. Now, after you sand it, you want to use a damp rag, not soaking wet, just nice and damp, okay? Wipe it off. And that takes all that super fine dust because you switched to 220 from 150, and now you have a real fine dust in there, and poly grinds super fine. And that's what you're grinding, is the poly. So give that a minute to kind of dry. Now listen. And then an unsanded one. And that's what you're looking for. Now, you put another coat of poly on top of that sanded surface. Same procedure, roll it on, wipe it down, and it will sound exactly like this again tomorrow. But then you hit it with a 220 again, and just wipe it down without any poly after that. And that's what she's gonna be like. Super smooth. All this staining process is really a bummer to me. It ain't so, I gotta do it again. Round 3, more sanding, over and over and again and over and over again and again. Woo! Another full day of just poly. But we have, looks like 3 more rows plus this little stack here. So not that much longer. We'll have at least this section of the project ready. I think, depending how tomorrow's other project goes, we might actually hang some trim tomorrow. That's exciting. All right, see you in the morning. One who's so far Oh yeah, you know what time it is. Happy dance time. We're done with polying for now. It's about midday on Tuesday. So what we need to do is start transforming this space into an actual like shop space. But we don't want to start cutting until that's 100% dry. So maybe we'll just leave this alone for now and get upstairs and start working on that door threshold that I showed you last week. It's gonna be interesting. The big mission right now is to try to figure out how to get these two elevations to be similar. It's too great of a difference to make them the same. It would involve me tearing this floor up and honestly all this up as well and really try to mesh it. And that's just not gonna happen. And I'm not looking for perfect, I'm looking for better. Now the sheathing on this side, it's a hot mess. I mean, there's all these patches that are put in on top of the original sheathing. Yeah, the floor that used to be here, long story, it's gone now. So, what I'm thinking is tearing this up, which is going to involve cutting back the hardwood floor up there, which was part of the plan anyway, so that's fine. And then assessing why there's such a hump right here. And if it's possible, I'm thinking we plane down these joists so that they're a little bit smaller and get it kind of grading this way. So the floor will have a bit of a slope from there coming this way, and that's fine. And then resheathing this, and then talk about shimming this up a little bit. So that's where I need to start. I need to pull all this apart. Goodness, those things, they get right up in there. Okay, what I've sussed out so far is that I need to get a 4x8 sheet of plywood because all the damage that's here, broken boards, holes drilled, slots cut out for venting, is all within a footprint of 4x8. So that's rather convenient, honestly, if you ask me. So I need to run a Curtis, get myself a sheet of 4x8, and then we'll cut it so that it fits into the doorway, and because we want a certain elevation at the doorway, and yeah, so we'll cut that out, we'll lay it in here, we'll trace it, and then cut this all out of that traced picture. And then, yeah, then it's a matter of dealing with the joists and the nails and yada yada yada. Sheathing's down. Let's have a look and see how we're doing. Oh yeah, it's way better. Last week we were at 1 7/8. Now, 1/2 inch. Awesome. So that is, what, 1 3/8. Good morning. So it's Wednesday, and I'm only gonna be here for a little bit. I have a meeting to go to for the next big project that we're gonna do. But I did come in just to sort out this little detail. As you know, this is 1/2 inch higher than this. And that got me thinking on my way home last night that 1/2 inch really isn't that bad, especially seeing how we're putting the luan on here. It's supposed to be 1/4 inch, it's actually more like 3/16. And so the simplest thing to do is take some number 2 cedar. So it's a shake, right? So it goes from 3/8 to pretty much nothing. So when it's nice and flat, it'll sit like that. And then, when you bring your luan in, and it's gonna be nice and flush. Problem solved. No more transition, no more issue with elevation changes. It's gonna be a nice, smooth underfoot. You'll never feel a thing. And you can kind of see that the floor is high here and dives down a little bit. So having the shim in here is actually going to flatten this floor out. So it's a win-win-win all the way across the board. Now, all I need to do is get in here, dig all this stuff out, and re-support the transition between the 2 floors, and then cut this out and, you know, do the whole thing. There, well, I'm gonna run off to my meeting, and I should be back this afternoon. All right, so I'm back from my meeting, and that's gonna be a fun project. It's gonna be pretty sweet. I think you're gonna enjoy that one. But let's continue on Frankie. Well, I guess I should stop here, shouldn't I? So I really want to get that window trimmed out so that the fellows who loaned me their plank and ladder, you know, the guys who did the sheetrock, they can have that back. And that's the only reason why that's still set up, is to trim that window. And we might as well trim that window out at the same time. Well, sort of. Yeah, let's just focus on this one. We'll get this one trimmed out, but in order to do that, I need to set up shop. So all our lumber is ready to go. It is pretty smooth. If I really wanted to, I could hit it with maybe like a 300, but it's fine. So over here, I need to have a workbench set up. I need to have my drop saw and table saw set up as well. And I need to be able to move around all of it. So yeah, let's just do that. So that jam extension and sill fit spot on. I'd show you, but you know, it's dark up there now. And which kind of brings me to another thought, is that once I get that window done, maybe I should just go ahead and install all the lights that we have. It'd make life a lot easier, and I can work in the dark. So I'm gonna think about that tonight. So I grabbed my purse, and yeah, if you're new to the channel, I call this my purse because if you think about it, guys who are really into the tool bags, they know all the names and all the features and all the blah blah blahs, just like a woman would know about purses. So I started calling my rig my purse, and it's been met with some interesting comments for sure. On the job site, that is. No one's really picked up on it on the old YouTube there. So now we need to do casing and head. A detailed head, but a very simple detail to the head. Oh, there you are. Okay, I'm gonna show you one method of installing trim, and then we'll do a different method probably on the next one, which I don't know if we'll get to in this video or not. Yeah, because I think I'm definitely going to change course after getting this one done. So like I mentioned, we have a little bit of a head detail. which comes from this little strip right here. So the strip is 1 inch across, 1/4 inch thick. That comes important here pretty soon. So we have a 1/4 inch to the outside and a 1/4 inch to the front. I've done these heads much thicker just to try to match an existing house, and it always, I don't know, takes away from the look of it in my eyes. But we'll shoot the head on, and this component is called the apron. One last thing to do, and that is to take off this plastic. Good news, found some Windex. Bad news, it's frozen. First world problems. Okay, so I'll just clean it with some diluted down Dawn dish soap, and that is just gonna have to be good enough. Like I mentioned yesterday, I believe, it gets dark in here, right? And I have to set up work lights, and that's just more time and yada, yada, yada. So I'm gonna get away from doing trim for now and get into the electrical and try to get some of the lights working in here. So instead of showing you all the minutia of sitting here and fiddle farting around with wires, I'm just gonna make them done. Yeah, the snapper doesn't work, but my light switches sure do. I even have kitchen lights and dining room lights. Let's go check those out. Ta-da! Let me show you the type of lights that we installed. I could point the camera right at it, but you know, a lot of good that's gonna do me. Now, I have 2 different lights in. One style is for the kitchen, and one style is for, well, everything else. To me, a kitchen is a workspace. It should be bright and airy, and you can see really well. So I went with a brighter light for that section. They can change it out if they want to. You can put a dimmer on it. And on this side, I want it to be softer. I want it to feel more homey, more inviting. So I went with a softer light on this side. But check out the wall color. It's the same color, it's antique white throughout. But look how different it looks. Pretty cool. It looks so different. Anyway. So on the living room, dining room area, I have the white on white, and then it just blends right in with the ceiling. I wanted them to disappear. I think it looks, I don't know, I don't see recessed lights in this space being, that much of a feature. So I just went white on white. But then in the kitchen, I did the nickel, the brushed nickel, which is why I had the brushed nickel light fixture, and I was talking about the brushed nickel hinges for the doors that we ordered, and things like this is why. And then for the sink, we'll do a similar faucet color. But just to show you how they install. It's so cruisy. All those little boxes that we installed, however many months ago, they have a little pigtail on them. The pigtail goes over this little screw head on it. You screw it together, and then these little guys are spring loaded. Doopy doopy, and it just put those in, put it in the sheetrock, and away you go. Very easy. I really like that. I've installed those in numerous houses now. I really, really like them. All right, well, enough gabbing. I think I might just pop those 2 in over there and then call it a night. So I'll see you in the morning. Good morning, it's Friday, and what I'm thinking is it was so nice to have lights on last night that I'm just gonna go ahead and put lights everywhere. And then this weekend I'll pick up the breakers to power them all up. Yesterday to do these, I had a 20 amp breaker, I tossed that in. It's oversized. I kicked the breaker off last night, so I don't have to worry about it, but locally there's an electrical supply house that I would typically get my stuff from, but it burned to the ground this week, I just found out. Complete loss. Nobody was hurt. It happened at, I think, 3 o'clock in the morning. And so it's like a little plaza, and there's an electrical contractor there and the electrical supply house. And right next to that's the Albaschans. The Albaschans has cats, and the cats are safe. They are safe. That was honestly the biggest concern the fire department had. That door transition, that was the last of the, well, known issues at this point that I wasn't quite sure how it was going to turn out. I had all kinds of plans of having a step threshold and all kinds of gnarliness, and the last thing I wanted to do was have any sort of step there, because what are you going to do at 2 o'clock in the morning when Teffy says, I need to go outside? And you go over there and you stub your toe on that threshold. Oh, I just see it happening. I see it. Well, with that said, I'm thrilled. It came out slick. You know, the sheathing that's underneath this floor here is 1 inch thick, well, in spots. And so what I did is the sheathing that I pulled out of there, and I replaced it with that Advantech. I went down to a 5/8 Advantech, shimmed that up to meet with the adjacent sheathing, and then ran that across. Also, when I planed down the floor joists and made them level going across, what a difference. Complete game changer. And so that only gave me 1/2 inch to mess with. So pretty simple. Just put in 3/4 inch sheathing down. Well, I just used hardwood flooring because I had a piece of scrap. Put that in there. And then I brought the 3/8 thick cedar shake, cut it down a little bit, slid it in there, and then put the 3/16 thick Luan on top of that. Now she is completely flush. No problem. And I was able to eliminate 2 humps in the floor. There was a hump on that side and on this side. I was able to eliminate both of those. With that all said, thank you for stopping by High Peaks Home. How do you like my cooler? Have you ever known a contractor that drinks more milk than beer? Well, you do now, because I am a fan.